all right. So some of you remember that I used to do this show at a different time slot. There's a reason I vacated that time slot. I'm sort of making this up. There's a reason I vacated it is because I received incredibly stiff competition. And here is a little bit of that competition from a recent Coach K and Beyond on SiriusXM.
It's pro, so why aren't we doing things like the pros? They're already getting paid. All these kids are getting paid. They all have nothing against that. I'm not against it. Let's just get current in everything. Why not get current in everything?
What you're saying is so true in that the relevance of the parties involved need this to be name, image, and likeness. But the reality of it is what you said, it's not. I'd be honest with you. I tell my guys, you're pros, and I'm going to treat you like pros. I tell these kids. And you're late, you're doing this, great, I'm going to fine you. And they said, well, where would the money go? I said, I keep the money. It'd be my money, so I'll be fining you left and right. But the point
now I want to get back into coaching.
See? This is why I had to vacate the time slot. Mike Krzyzewski, the host of Basketball and Beyond on SiriusXM, joins us on the Adam Gold Show. How are you, sir?
Good, and that was John Calipari saying that, John's still doing it. God bless him. And he's doing it well. And thank goodness another Jon Scheyer is doing it because he's doing it great. And really happy for both those guys, but especially for Coach Scheyer.
Do you call him Coach Scheyer?
I do not. I call him Jon.
And but he still calls you Coach, right?
Yeah, he does. But that's he played for me and a sign of respect. And he and I have had and still do an incredible relationship. So and he's done a fabulous job, and we almost did it this year. We had an amazing year, and I think we're going to have another really good team. Hopefully we'll be healthy like we were last year.
Yeah, and for the most part, you were pretty much healthy all the way throughout. There were some issues. There was some cramping early, and Cooper got hurt during the ACC tournament. But Mini Cooper, Con Knipple, was more than adequate in the ACC tournament. Mike Krzyzewski is joining us here. All right, I was going to start with something else, but we'll start with Jon Scheyer because I'm curious about the way you handle these situations now that you're removed. You're not removed from the program, image-wise, everybody still associates you with Duke basketball, but you haven't been present at a ton of games. But you were at the Final Four. So how do you explain what your emotions, how your emotions went as they were building that big lead and as it was kind of going away? Was it harder to be off the court than it would have been on the court?
Well, first of all, it's our team. I mean, and John and I try not to be at that many games, but just a few. But behind the scenes, he and I have. I still work at Duke. I'm still in my same office. I see John quite a bit. I saw him yesterday. We talk quite a bit. But he's the coach, and he's going to do it his way. And if I can help him in some way in running our program, then I will. During that game, the one thing about getting at that level and at that, the pressure of that game, you only get one shot, and we had an incredible season and we were playing an outstanding game. I thought we had a chance to be even further up, but Houston had been in a lot of those situations, so they didn't quit. And that's the thing. They kind of upped it in the last couple minutes, and we were not at our best, and so I felt for them, and I thought we should have won, and I'm sure John feels the same way, but that doesn't we're not making excuses. Houston made plays that were winning plays, and we didn't in that last minute. And and then it turned the tables on them, where Florida did that to them, and in the championship game. So, but overall, just an incredible year. Really is. That team was pure. Jon and his staff did a magnificent job with them. They loved one another. They played their butts off, and I still think we're the best team, but not all the time does that best team win in a one-game shot.
Mike Krzyzewski is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jon since that Saturday night, but I am curious. I'm sure he's thought about things that he wished he had done differently. And I haven't gotten into specifics with him at all about it. But do you have games that you still go back and think, maybe not that I should have done something different, but man, how did it not work out in our favor?
No, not now. I mean, when the game was played and you do an analysis, I call it an after-action report about the game, and you figure out, what you could have done differently. But then you move forward. If you keep bringing up the past while you're doing the present, you're not going to do the present as well. And so each game's a new game. That doesn't mean the experiences that you've had up until that point and in preparation for the game you don't use. But if you gunny sack, bad things, then you're going to be a loser, and you got to move on, take responsibility. Same thing with a win. If you won the whole thing, are you going to be hungry again? Or are you going to think in the past? I call it next play. The really good competitors, the people who are actually competing, and the coaches who have the honor of coaching those competitors. You have to have a next play attitude. Otherwise, you won't be a consistent winner.
Mike Krzyzewski is joining us. Basketball and beyond. How many years is this now for the radio show on Sirius?
Yeah, 20, and we just completed. And we do it for a little bit over 30 weeks. We don't do it during the summer, and we changed the format a little bit. Chris Patola now is my host. Instead of having two guests, we have one for a longer period of time, and then he and I will do kind of an after-action interview about that, which is good because then we're able to, I'm able to comment a little bit more. And I've loved the show. I mean, our last show that we had right after the Final Four, our two guests were Todd Golden, the coach of the basketball national, and Ryan Day, who the coach of Ohio State football. So we're able to have top quality people, and I've learned so much from doing the show, and we've been fortunate to have great guests.
You do, and you have a great co-host. I don't know how you were able to secure Chris Patola's services, but I'm sure you have inside you have an inside track there. Let me ask you about the state of play in college sports. Mike Krzyzewski is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show, because we could talk about this is the era of revenue sharing, but this has been going on now for several years. We now have some more defined rules, and the schools are involved directly now, but we've basically been in a pay-for-play situation for a few years. How do you think this is going to impact the game going forward? What do you see as the pitfalls?
Well, I don't think the game will. I think the game will continue to grow, both college basketball and college football. The product is outstanding, and it's going to be older. For basketball, it probably the same football because you can't leave until you've been there 3 years for the pros. Will maintain they'll still have a lot of transfers and whatever, but basketball will be older. I mean, it was reflective in the I work for the NBA. I'm a special assistant for Adam Silver for the last 2 years. I'm at all their meetings, and we just had the draft, the second round. There were only about 100 entrants into the draft this year. A few years ago, there were over 300. And so guys are staying longer who would be late first round or definitely second round picks. They make a lot more playing college basketball.
Yep.
So the other big change is a huge change, and you'll see it a lot this year. You're still seeing it happening right now, is the amount of international players that are going to be in college basketball. It's hurt the EuroLeague because the young, really good players who are pros are coming to the United States to play for colleges now because you can be a pro.
Yeah.
You can have already been paid. So you're going to see, you may see teams that have 3 international starters. You might see a team of all international players. Illinois is one of those teams that have recruited a great many of them. And it seemed like any player that withdrew from the draft immediately signed with a college. So it's a changing world, but I think it'll mean an older, and it will be an older competitive environment, and there will be less mid-majors that will achieve high-level success because the rating of the lower Division I and mid-level by the power conferences in the Big East because of what they can do with financially for the players. Players aren't staying for 4 years at those schools. They may come for 1 year, and if they're the rookie of the year in that league, they're not going to be at that school the following year. That's just a fact of life. So, but it'll make the game, really the product will be terrific as it has been. It's just going to be older.
Speaking, I want to go back to the freshmen because I heard you say Mike Krzyzewski is joining us here, and only have a couple more minutes left, so I want to get through a couple of quick things. You said, I don't know, about a few weeks ago, you thought Cooper Flagg was the best freshman. I think it was ever at Duke. He might have been. Well, it's not the best freshman we've had. Lou Alcindor was a pretty good freshman.
Well, he did, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
But I guess he couldn't play as a freshman, right?
He couldn't play as a freshman. He would have been the best freshman.
That's right. But I am curious. How would you compare Cooper Flagg to Carmelo Anthony when he was a freshman at Syracuse? And Anthony, of course, helped you win how many gold medals, and he loves the fact that he won gold medals for you. How would you compare him to a player like that in college?
Well, he had the same impact on a program in that Carmelo, they won a national championship. That was Jim's only great, Boeheim, great coach. But as far as stats go and what he did for the team, Cooper led our team in every stat. He is a national leader in all those areas, and the amount of attention that was focused on him was as much as anybody in the last couple decades in college basketball. So he had the spotlight on him all the time, and he delivered. That didn't take anything away from Carmelo.
Right.
He delivered too, and the fact is he was a national champion. Cooper fell just short of that goal, but performance-wise, it's tough. It's pretty tough to compete and match what Cooper did as a freshman here.
All right, final serious question. Are you for expanding the NCAA tournament, which seems like is going to happen?
I would like to hear, instead of just giving opinions, I'd like to hear the opinions of people who want to keep it and who don't want to keep it. And what's the purpose of expanding? How does that influence the game? Instead of saying, are you for or against, why don't we discuss it? And why don't we discuss it openly? And why don't people on TV, on radio, and that bring people together so that they can discuss these things? And where you just don't, okay, I'm going to vote on this, or I think this is good, or whatever. Opinions are opinions. You want opinions, but you want opinions based on fact. Because there's some old expressions about opinions that everyone can have one, and I like opinions that are based on fact. And then when you might bring contrary opinions together, but both sides have facts, and then you have great discussion, and you come up with a solution that is better. That's the way I would look at it. I wouldn't change to change. We got a great product, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't be open to change if I could hear the facts of how it might benefit sport and the game of basketball.
And my feeling on it, and not that you asked, but I'll offer it, is that bigger is not always better. Bigger is just bigger. I know I'm really fighting against the current here, but I don't think we made college football better by making the season-ending tournament bigger. I think we just made it bigger. And I don't think we made the season better. Certainly more teams are involved because you've expanded the field by 400% or whatever it is, whatever the math says, and they're going to do that again. But I don't think you've necessarily made the end of the season better. You've just made it bigger. And I don't think making it bigger automatically means better.
I respect what you're saying. I would say this to conclude is that we should always be open to change. Change is happening all the time, but let's be prepared for the change and let's have a reason to change. And what are those reasons? And a huge thing right now for change is making money to pay for all the stuff we have to pay for right now.
Right, yeah.
So there's a financial aspect to this that has to be considered for both men's basketball and for football. The football in expanding, they know what the hell they're doing with their money. They're not run by the NCAA.
Right.
The NCAA tournament basketball is run by the NCAA, which they're not business people. They are not. And they've given incredible examples of why they should not be considered business people, including their forever journey to want antitrust protection. So it's a different world for both those sports.
Mike Krzyzewski, I appreciate your time. I can't wait to the start of the next, when you go back on the air with basketball and beyond. I hope to talk to you again down the road. Best to you. Enjoy your summer.
All right. Thanks, Adam. Always a pleasure to be on.
Take care.